Welcome, this is your life now, a wasteland where we all take a vow.
Hi, my name's Mallory, and I've had multiple sclerosis for 19 years and utilized a power wheelchair for 12. We share what our family's experience is like dealing with a chronic illness. And today I have my husband with me, Brad, and we're talking about traveling with a chronic illness, but also dependent upon a wheelchair. But we wanted to talk about it honestly because I woke up with these stressors. I guess I've had them for building up to, but I don't know. It was just as I was yapping and whining and expressing my concerns this morning, we had the idea we should probably put this in a podcast because this is what we do. So anyways, we're going to a destination wedding in Cabo that we're excited about, but I don't know, there's just a lot of stressors when it comes to that.
So what are you worried about?
You got your normal things. We have a preteen, or no, we have a teen. She's a teen now.
She's a teenager.
We're leaving our teen behind with family, and so you've got those stressors already, and then the dog we've got, a neighbor that's watching the dog, and, the house. Is anything going to happen with that? You've just got all those normal things, right? That I think most mothers experience, but stressors with MS and a wheelchair and all that comes into play when you start to travel. But I mean, even as I pack, I'm like, oh God, I'm already panicking. I was panicking, I think Wednesday, trying to do math in my head. I don't do math, by the way. Numbers are not my friend. But I was trying to do the math on how many cats I would need. What if I run out of cats and I can't go to the bathroom? What would we do? Oh my God. I was already stressing about how many cats and what if I didn't have enough. And
So we bring extra.
yeah, well, what's extra?
It's extra. A whole box extra.
I know,
whatever's going to remove the worry.
The stressor, yeah. And so, but then, then we went into, we never travel with a power wheelchair because we just are, in our head, we know we go to countries that aren't accessible by any means. But let me share this because this is my favorite part about traveling in other countries or Caribbean countries, right? There's just a different way that those cultures go about someone with a disability and with a chair. When we get to door frames that don't have a ramp or cobblestone areas, what I've experienced is so different than what I experience in the States. And I love it. It's amazing and it's a good thing, but I don't feel discriminated against or frowned upon for being in the state that I'm in. And so what I mean by that is, Brad will get to a door frame and ask do you have a ramp? Is there a way I can get my wife in? And then just people emerge and they just pick me up and put me in, pick up the wheelchair, I can just I see their impressions on their face and it's not a thought, they just do it. It's so different. And then in America, it's we scramble, we don't know what to do. Let me find you the ramp, and we can use this. Actually, I remember using the paramedic what is it, the paramedics use, there's a name for them that they put their patients on in the vehicle.
Oh, the board.
Yeah. I remember one point using, somebody couldn't figure out how to get me into a training facility here in America, and it took an hour for them to come up with this. Well, we'll just, backboards, I think is what they're called maybe, but we'll just use these. Do you think you can comfortably? And I remember it being scary, but it just, I don't know. There's just a different mindset when it comes to dealing with someone with a disability. But anyways, back to our stressors. Like, where I was going with that is with the wheelchair. You know, we're traveling with a manual wheelchair. Well, then I was panicking about the manual wheelchair. Like, it was feeling kind of janky the last time we used it because it's been in a lot of sand. It's been in a lot of salt water.
It's been to a lot of countries.
So it's been well loved, and we've had a lot of adventures in the chairs and so forth. So anyways, that's a panic too. Is this chair gonna hold out through a trip? But then, what else was I talking about this morning? I was telling you, like, the
airplane.
Yeah, the airplane. Like, we've
going
got a
from
3-hour flight.
Right, yeah.
So what if I have to go to the bathroom on the plane?
We'll just make
There's
sure
those panic.
Yeah, well, you make sure your bladder's empty before you get on the plane.
So
limit your water intake.
And then, I don't really have a poop schedule.
No.
Like, my body poops when it wants to poop. And so, that's a fear too. Like, mid-flight, center seat, back of the plane. The back of the plane might be convenient, but because it's closer. But I don't know. I'm just like, what if like poop is happening? I don't know. So there's that. But then, this is also a destination wedding. So there's a lot of family friends that do life as normal and let's go get on a sailboat. And, when we travel, it's a lot of research. It's, can we do these things? Will this dock work to get my wife on this boat? Like, I don't know. We're not doing any of those things ahead of time because we don't know what plans. So there's there's stressors with travel.
So one of my biggest worries every time we travel is like the shuttle going from the airport parking to the terminal. Well, in America, the airport parking is they always have a handicap lift ramp, right? So, but when you land in another country, you don't know if they're going to be stairs going down to the plane onto the tarmac, or even the shuttle going to your hotel in another country. They don't have handicap lift ramps, so it's always, I can roll you from airplane. We have enough people that'll help you down the stairs, or will help you get back in the chair on ground, but what about from airport onto shuttle to the hotel and getting back off the shuttle? That's always my biggest worry.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, is it a taxi that's really low to the ground? Am I going to hurt myself getting her into the
Well, actually, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, pack the pain reliever. Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of slinging her around.
Or is it a big shuttle where I have to pick her up, walk up 2 or 3 stairs, walk down mid aisle, and plant her in a chair, and then do all this opposite to get her off of it? So that's I've never really worried too much about the resort itself or getting to the airport, in America, but that's always been my biggest concern is, how is this going to work? What accommodations are available?
That's a stressor for me too, is in the hotel. Having
how wide are the doors to the bathroom?
Also going to the bathroom. We always have bathroom problems in hotels. Because you can't just, where we travel, we can't just say, I need an ADA room. It's not a thing unless you're going to big fancy resorts. But we also, I don't know, we do inclusive resorts occasionally, but we kind of like and enjoy to keep it low key. And I don't know. We enjoy different cultures and foods. And so anyways, with that being said, we don't get those selections to say, give us an ADA room. And so there's a lot of wake Brad up in the middle of the night, like, hey babe, like, and
I gotta pee.
you will me to the bathroom and then you have to carry me to the toilet. Like there's those things. I don't know. And I don't know. The unfortunate part too is a vacation isn't a vacation for you. We were talking about this, I think, night before last.
Before last, yeah.
Mentally, you want to go on vacation, right?
Right.
And we get there, and what tends to happen, and this is a stressor too, and why we were talking about it is because I tend to get stressed because we just traditionally come back at the end of vacation being upset with each other. And that's because I think it's a natural human nature. Like you want to go on vacation, and Brad mentally kind of tries to do that. And then I'm over here even more useless I don't have a power wheelchair. I just don't have all the convenient items that help me to do life. And so I'm requiring more, and Brad's wanting to mentally check out, but I can't remember how I said that because I said it great.
It's like your body doesn't give you a vacation either.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't get a vacation from her.
We were talking about that this morning. Is what when you say her, you're referring to your body. This is not what you want to do. The body is your body's doing what it wants to do.
Yeah, we are two separate entities.
Right.
But I don't know. We don't get a vacation from MS by any means. It doesn't go away. It doesn't pause. So it's that's a stressor for me too, as I know you don't get a break unless it's a work trip or a hunting trip. And so anyways, I think that's natural though. I don't think it has anything to do with you.
No.
I think it's just human nature that,
right.
We want to go on vacation and so forth. But anyways, it's what happens with a chronic illness. And I'm sure there's so much more that I'm not worried about quite as of yet. We have to start packing pretty soon. I'm a last minute packer.
Yeah. So what about the positives of traveling?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my thing about traveling with a woman in a wheelchair is, I don't know how many of you are familiar with going through customs at a large airport, but you've seen I guess let me explain. You go through customs, you come back into America, and the customs line, it weaves back and forth like a snake. It's really long, takes an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get through it if you're lucky. But you got me and Mallory on a wheelchair. They see you go straight to the front, you go straight to a separate line, and we're waiting on our luggage coming back from another country, which if you weren't in a wheelchair or had a disability, that's not how that works. Your luggage just come off the road, off the line, and set to the side because they need to use it for something else at that point. So, but anyway, that's one of the positives for me is going through customs, really.
Yeah. So we tend to be the first ones on the plane, but the last one's off.
Definitely last one's off. So when you're ready to get off the plane, we still have to wait.
Yeah, so regardless of a 3-hour flight, I might be my bladder might almost be ready to explode at the end of it, and we still have to wait. But a lot of times too, I feel like the wheelchair has always been there. There's always been something to sit me in until they get
right. They have an aisle chair
wheelchair,
that'll get you.
And so they don't just leave leave us there hanging. But I don't know. The stewards seem to be pretty into getting our resources to us, because I know they need to turn over the plane pretty quickly. But I don't know. We've sat long waits, but
We have.
But we also don't travel with the power wheelchair because I'm scared to death of that. And
That's her primary means of transportation. So, I mean, if they damage it in any way, form, or fashion, like, she's kind of out of luck, like, until the insurance or airline can manage to come up with a new one or rental or whatever to replace and fix the broken wheelchair.
I don't know. I've just heard more scary things than positive things about traveling with power wheelchairs. I know there's a lot of laws, and
It's
things
recently
being
changed.
worked on for 2025, but it's still scary when it's your only means of movement and independence. So I'm too scared to do that. But luckily I have you. But
So just to be on the safe side, we always traveled with a manual wheelchair that if it does get broke, it's not a huge setback.
Yeah.
We could potentially rent one or something from an airport or a local company.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's my current state of stress.
are these all the things you're worried about? Is there anything else?
I mean, I think that's it.
Bed? What about a bed?
Yeah.
The height of beds.
I don't know. I mean, you're there. I don't know. I don't know. It's hit and miss with those two. Like some of the hotels have extremely high beds, like the height of a table versus a bed or a couch or something. But I don't know. When I was traveling independently, like for work, that was really important that I got right. And I was in an ADA room. But I'm like, since you're with me, it is a little bit of peace of mind, but I do know I won't be getting in or out of bed by myself.
True.
Because that's scary. And then diet things is always a worry.
Yeah.
I mean, I might just be drinking black coffee all week because I don't eat gluten or dairy, and so I tend to be safe when we travel because if I stick to proteins and veggies, I'm perfectly fine. But like the things I like dairy-free creamer with my coffee, and I won't be getting those things by any means. But I don't know. But that tends to, I don't know, when we travel or eat out a lot, that tends to wreak havoc on my stomach and my abdomen. So anyways, I may come home and have not used the number 2 restroom all week. And so that's always, I don't know. But I don't know, the bathroom part seems to be one of, with having a chronic illness, seems to be one of my top stressors, and going to the bathroom, when, how, where. Family bathrooms are great for these reasons. Unisex bathrooms.
Not all resorts have those.
And so I'm like, that's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. Normal people don't think about these things, I'm pretty sure. But that's why I'm like, it's just crazy. I feel like it's strange, but it is our reality, and I'm sure what a lot of people with disabilities deal with. And I know my disability might not be the same as others, but I feel like bathroom is one of the top concerns for most disabled when traveling. But it's crazy to me. But I think that that's where I'm at in my headspace with travel at the moment. Hi, so we're back. We had a phenomenal trip to Cabo with the lovely couple that got married. So that was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
It was definitely a lot of fun.
I think we talked at the first half of this video about the stressors and what prompts those things, and so I was very vigilant on this trip just to kind of monitor my own emotions, because I really like to understand like why I'm feeling some way, and I like to be able to communicate it back to you and to anyone really that is experiencing it. So but anyway, so we just wanted to recap that and what it was like for us. But so the flight there, I mean, really uneventful.
It was very uneventful. Yeah, I mean, they
did not have to go to the bathroom. Woohoo!
That's always a plus. Yeah, I'm always worried about that. Like, what happens if she has to go pee while on a flight?
No. Remember, we were in the airport at DFW. We were going to run to the restroom before the flight, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, babe, I can't find the bag of cats." And you know, that's after what we originally talked about. Like, I have this fear of running out. Well, then we're like, okay, now we have none. Like, I remember saying, like, you know, I can't, like, I just won't go to the bathroom. Like, it just doesn't happen. And so that was resolved with what? Dumping your backpack in the bathroom floor. And
pretty much. Yeah. I was kind of in freak out mode just as much as you were. So, but we found them.
Yeah.
We found them. So it was all good.
So flight went well though. I mean, getting on the flight in DFW is easy. You will know the technical term. We get to go straight to the
We're usually first on the plane, last off.
But what's it called? Where you get to like
the jetway.
The jetway, yeah. So yes. you get a jetway in DFW. So of course anxiety was around, you know, when we land, like what's that gonna be like? And of course,
no jetway. You land and they pull up on the tarmac, and you have to walk downstairs to the tarmac, hop on a bus, and get taken to the terminal. So it comes to, how are we going to get you down the stairs? Mm-hmm. But anyway, they put you in your little aisle chair, and like four guys grabbed a corner and carried you down them stairs.
Yeah. Well, and just like I had described, it like no question asked, like, and I think that's part of why I prefer the way that other cultures respond to my disability and inability to stand up and just walk. Is they don't even acknowledge that I'm disabled or acknowledge that like this is weird or something. They just do it. And I mean, I have a deep respect for that, because it doesn't make me feel different or as if I'm being a nuisance or problem to someone. Right. It's just the way of life, and that's what we do, and no questions asked. So right. I think, again, one of those things that I've been trying to be very vigilant of, like, well, why did it make me feel that way? Or was there a way around that feeling? Or, you know, I'm hyper vigilant of that. But anyway, so we got off the flight, and then, which we've done differently in other countries. Like, some of them have had a wheelchair that actually goes down or climbs the stairs, so it hasn't had to be a lift thing. You've carried me before in these situations. We've done piggyback. We've done infant style. We're facing each other, but anyways, we've always made it work. But and then from there, shuttle.
I had to pick you up and put you in the shuttle. So other countries don't have like the wheelchair lift, like when
you go to Disney World and the
right.
whole bus transforms for the wheelchair. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, shuttle wasn't bad. I mean, we stayed at the resort. I mean, there were options to leave, option like to go into the city and the town. Well, I guess we went once.
Good ones.
We walked it,
Yeah.
and that wasn't bad at all.
No,
But
I walked it.
I rode.
Yeah.
But bathrooms, as predicted, our hotel was. I don't know. I know it's like
We're used to it though.
I know, but like I don't know what it is. Like why that's a thing. Like I don't know. Maybe I should research that just because I want to know. Is like why does the toilet always have to be in another room? Like why can't it just be part of the bathroom? Like that would make my life easier. I don't know. Like it's probably because married couples didn't want to be in the same room, but they wanted to be partially in the same room. That would be my guess.
It's a privacy thing. I really do.
But anyways, it just makes for a real challenge. And so anytime I needed to go to the restroom, it was a team effort. And, get me in the room. then, just, yeah. So we ran into those challenges, which once we find like a routine that works, we stick to that routine, aka meaning we don't try to go to any public restrooms or anything else on the resort. We try to stick like, let's go back to the room and use the restroom really quick, like just so there's no mishaps. Like we try to stick to what we know works. But
yep.
And then I mean the bed was, I don't know, was the bed high, was the bed low?
I think the bed
I never
was
even
fine.
tried myself. Like I
No,
just
I mean I helped you in and out of the bed.
ran with you.
I don't know. I think the bed was fine. It wasn't,
Yeah.
6 feet in the air or anything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine.
Which we did also, we had a wonderful balcony.
I did.
We spent many, many of hours on the balcony, morning and evening.
Coffee
yeah.
and watching whales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I mean, it wasn't a surprise, but the balcony and the ability to see so many whales that close, and in our own private room, and I could go out in my pajamas if I wanted to, and that was perfectly fine with me. So, but that was pretty awesome. And then my diet, and we talked a little bit about,
everybody is very conscious about a gluten-free, dairy-free. They're always asking, do you have any current allergies?
Yeah.
That we need to be aware of?
Well, my biggest concern is always coffee. And this resort actually had a coffee shop, so I was able to get like a dairy-free. I don't even know what I got every
Almond
day.
milk. It was just a latte.
Okay, a latte. I'm like, I don't even know what I got. It sufficed for the caffeine need, and but anyway, so that was, and the thing too is, and I noticed it already. Like we've eaten Mexican food a few times since we've been home, and the stomach issues and bloating and. That just, I don't have that problem when we travel. I can eat all the same foods in Mexico that would make my stomach like terrible shape in America, and I don't have those same issues. So I actually like, there's a lot of things that I'm like cautious about, like red onion, like it's scary to me, or onions in general, but if I would avoid those things at home, but I can actually get away with them in other countries because I guess their produce is better. I don't know.
More natural, I imagine.
But anyway, so that went really well. Coffee went really well. I was able to have breakfast and everything just fine. So
bacon and eggs.
Yeah. I think we have one scenario though. It seemed like I was being so much extra, but I remember like later that day I was like, I feel bad. Like I felt like everybody probably around us, or like friends and family that were surrounding us at that table, probably thought I was like the rudest person to you, and that we were so much extra, and like me and you have our own understanding of, what I can eat, what I can't eat, and
right.
When I'm nauseous and like my stomach's bothering me.
Right.
So I'm like, that's something that like the table would never know these things. And so when I think you brought me something twice, and I was like, this just isn't good. It's not sitting well. And you understood that. Like,
Right.
you know what my challenges are with my stomach.
Right.
But I remember thinking, like, I am acting like I am such a, like, brat, but this is just normal, and you know that. So
It's how we roll.
yeah. So, but yeah, oh my gosh, I think the, like, most surprising thing about the resort was the ramps. I mean, we didn't have issues with stairs, but the ramps around the resorts were so steep.
Yeah, it was the walkways in general. It was not necessarily ramps, but the walkways. They were all, nothing was level. It was all either going down a hill, up a hill. Yeah, and like I said, we don't bring a power chair. We always bring a manual wheelchair. So I was pushing her up hills, down hills, and so yeah, it definitely got my leg workout for the week.
So we went to, well, now we know it's actually their cruise port. We didn't know at the time. We left the resort just to kind of explore what was, like, immediately outside. And I remember we were on the fence for so long. I'm like, I think we should just get a cab. Like, that is so steep. This can't be safe. Like, I'm not going to be able to stay in my chair. And then you finally convinced me. I don't know. What would you call that grade? Like, what is...
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't know.
Down.
Yeah,
Straight. Down.
steep. Yeah.
So that was a bit scary, but you pulled it off. I was shocked. I honestly I was just more worried about the down part of that, and me just, like, toppling out. That's all I imagined was, there she goes. That would be the typical. But no, and I think anxiety wise, we tend to argue every trip, and at some point I think I make some sort of statement of, I never want to travel again. Like, it becomes awful, and I think it's because of the emotions that we carry. That's something we actually sat and watched on our balcony talking about, I think, like, day 2, because I was trying to understand the emotion of why we get there, and really trying to combat that as well, because I mean, it's never intentional. It's just what happens. And what I remember us talking about, though, is by day 2, that's at least 24 hours in total, and I've experienced what we're gonna do for the next couple of days, but it's always surprises me how much independence I do not have. And so that's the first part, is, like, grieving for a moment, like, wow, I'm useless. Like, so I think there's that piece, and then I just feel so awful because I feel so guilty, not awful, but guilty, because this is what you're having to endure as well. And so it just, I don't, that's what I've identified so far. I'm sure there's more to it, and longer trips too that really show more evidence on what it is. But and I think too, when we were doing, like, scuba trips and things like that, like, I just had a lot of, like, the emotions behind that were the desire to be diving just like any other person, but also being so exhausted afterwards. It's the desire to be, normal, if anybody's normal. I mean, but it's just that desire to have a normal body, maybe. I don't know. But for the most part, I think I was able to at least pinpoint those things. And this trip was a little different. I mean, we don't go on many destination wedding trips. And this would be the first. and the only one so far. But this trip, of course, was with a group of friends and family, and so there's that piece too. Like that actually provided you a little bit more help.
Yeah.
Because there were parts of the wedding, the events that they had were upstairs
with no ramps, so it was
were elevators to those areas, and so several men just.
A group of guys carried you up like the guys carried you down the airplane. We carried you up.
Yeah. Just four. I had 4 people on each.
One person on each corner.
Yeah, on a wheelchair. So that was up and down. I know we did that twice.
I think we did that. Yeah.
Just to get me to some of the locations, but yeah, we've been in a lot of other scenarios that were way worse than this. I wouldn't say they're worse; they just required more of you and more assistance from others to help us get to where we needed to. So, but that was quite helpful. But we also, I one thing too, one of your cousins had asked you why we weren't in the pool one day. There was a pool day carved out for the wedding party, and everybody there. And so, anyways, we didn't. Neither one of us even packed a swimsuit.
Nope.
That was intentional, and we just know us. But your cousin had asked you, like, well, why do y'all do that? Like, go get in your swimsuits. Like, we could all help you get in. And both of us were just like humming and hawing around, like, oh yeah, well, we just don't want to. And but I think it was really because we didn't know how to put in words, or we didn't even know either, like, what it was.
Yeah. But we talked about it. It's the work that it takes to get you in a swimsuit, the work that it takes to get you out of swimsuit. What if you have to pee while you're in the pool? Like, that's not how your body functions. You can't just go pee.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of extra work involved in just getting in the pool for a few hours.
I think much like the spoon theory when it comes to chronic illness and the amount of energy you have in a day, that's very much how we manage like trips. Sometimes the way I plan around like how I'm gonna do dishes and things like that. I'm like, I have everything lined up and everything in order. Like, it's very careful planning. And that was really, when we talked about it later and really pinpointing, like, well, why do we do that? Like, why do we make that decision? And it was really because of how much energy it would require out of both of us. Like, we know that if we spent hours at the pool, that would be putting me in a swim. Well, one, getting me out of current clothes, putting me in a swimsuit, swimming, which is exerting energy. That's after getting me in the pool to exert some energy, getting me out of the pool, exerting energy. And like, can you imagine getting me out of a wet swimsuit? Holy moly.
Maybe you should explain the spoon theory.
So the spoon theory, this is going to be very layman's terms because this is my impression or how we've kind of used it at home. But, you start off the day with so many spoons. And as a visual, when, I took a shower today, that's 5 spoons right there. That's a lot.
And you only start out with 10 to 12 spoons a day.
Yeah, like it's nowhere near like 30. I'm like, it's like 18 to like 20 at most. Like, that's capping out. Like,
doing the dishes is 2 spoons.
Yeah, and so
going to the bathroom is 1 or 2 spoons.
Yeah.
So it's that way you don't overexert yourself, right? Like, once you're out of spoons, you're done for the day. That way you're not regretting the next day, right? So. Well,
and like with this scenario, like we know, like we need to be able to do these, and these things at minimum. Like, I need to be able to function, like brush my teeth and my hair. like the minimal things. So we know don't waste no spoons on a pool day or pool time, because I will be down for probably the entire day. Like
Right.
we'll have used up all of our spoons in our little spoon bowl bank. But anyways, we just plan carefully for that so that we both get the maximum enjoyment from the day or the trip. So
Right.
we hung out by the pool in a shady place and had drinks and visited with everybody just fine. But
Right.
we just opted not to get in the pool and to like address all of the effort that would have to be put into that. So, but yeah, so we just, you plan carefully with how you're going to spend your spoons. And sadly, like I find myself sometimes like when I have a big event, or like say, I don't know, say I have like big plans on Saturday, like I'm going to meet somebody and this could be like a 3-hour event or something. I end up using spoons throughout the week, stressing or worrying like, oh, what if I'm there longer than the hour? Or what if they don't have a bathroom that's accessible? So I can sometimes spend some spoons and have to cash in some spoons just on events that I'm worrying about up in advance. And I think, I don't know, when I talk to other like chronically ill individuals, like I think that's a commonality that we all encounter. Like we spend a lot of time worrying about how things are going to work and hoping they play out in our favor. In our favor, meaning we don't draw a ton of attention to us because we fell out of our chair, we couldn't get in the bathroom, or
Right.
things like that. So the proudest moment of my entire trip, though, was I totally danced.
In your chair.
In my chair. Yeah, I never stood up. Never. But you can dance in your chair.
Any way you want.
But no, Brad has an awesome uncle that I don't know if it took him courage to do this. Actually, he's the father of the bride, or what. But he did. Sweet man came up to me and was like, would you like to dance? And I probably in every scenario in my like growing up and whatever, like maturing life, I would have never gotten on the dance floor, let alone in a wheelchair. And I did. I don't know how many, I don't know. I know I went from your uncle. I don't know. It started quite the,
It did.
the tour of Mallory. Because I did, I don't know. I hung out with a college kid. Should we admit this? Like I did like, what is the, like, on the bar where you get they give you a shot or whatever.
Oh.
I am so not in this league, but I did all the things and enjoyed it. I don't know. I kind of find myself like I'm kind of at this place where I'm loving like the growth and maturity of aging, but like being able to let go and have fun. Like I kind of feel like I'm going backwards on that element. Like I'm having more fun as I grow in age. Like I'm kind of letting go. And I think a lot of that is, getting comfortable. Like I've been in a wheelchair now for
13 years.
Yeah, getting close to 13 years.
Getting close to 13, yeah.
So the longer I've been here and the more my disease progresses, I'm learning to embrace that. So since we've been home and we posted the last episode on why we chose our name, we're on the hunt for like how many days since the last injury on the job. Like we just need a ticker here because I've since injured my other foot like yesterday morning. I had a run in with the door. You since
I have broken a finger.
I like how he tells people though that I have a broken finger. No.
You know, I can't shake anybody's hands. I have to fist bump everybody.
And how did you do that, sir?
Table saw incident. Yeah, we'll keep it at that.
It's attached.
It's still attached.
It's all together.
Couple stitches, broken bone.
Yeah, no, not even a surgery. It was But you've had a really, really good run. We were talking about that in the ER. You've pretty much remodeled our entire house, like from the top to the bottom, literally, like crown molding to the flooring. Like you've redone all of that independently.
And no injuries.
Contractors. And the 20 years that we've been together and the amount of like work and effort you've put into our home and any other thing we ever made for our apartments or things like that. Like you've never injured yourself. So you had a really long run. Good job.
Yep. Thank you.
Apparently you've been hanging with me too long. It's rubbing off now. But anyway, so yeah, you've since injured yourself. I injured myself again. So we were laughing this morning that we need to get
We're actually going to get on and find a sign that says days since last injury so we can keep y'all updated.
Hey, it'll help us stand from injury to injury. Like, calm down. But yeah, so.
Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content we're creating, please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and find us wherever you can get your podcasts.